What's good, Steeler Nation? My name is Jack Sperry, and this is Steelers Talk. We have a loaded news and rumor show for your Pittsburgh Steelers. Number one topic, Cameron Heyward's retweet. Did he do it, or was it his butt? We'll figure it out in a little bit. Steelers injury updates as well. Chase Claypool, should we trade him? Big Ben breaking down Kenny Pickett's first game or first start against the Bills, and then some roster moves to finish things out. But before we get into all the good stuff today, I want to know, if you want the Steelers to bounce back this week against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, type me in the comments to kick things off for today's show. All right, now, Cameron Heyward, the thing that's on every Steelers fan mind right now is, did he retweet that tweet or was it his butt? Let's break it down completely here. So here is the tweet that he retweeted yesterday. It says, BS, I can't stand Tomlin, and he's a fraud and clown that's been carried by Ben his entire career. However, Cam Heyward was running 30 yards downfield to make tackles that the LBs wouldn't make. Shut up, Ryan. And he retweeted that. So obviously Twitter exploded when that happened. And then Cam put this out really, really quickly after he did that. He said, disregard my last retweet. That was a butt retweet. Dumb Cam. And then later on, he put out another tweet saying, okay, let me be clear when I say that this was a complete accident. I challenge myself to be better and don't look to point the finger. These losses I take personal, and I need to be better. So you guys get the gist. Personally, I believe this was a mistake. I believe Cam Heyward here, this really isn't his brand, his style to retweet something like this. Maybe if it was like Antonio Brown, I would believe that this was legit, but Cam Heyward, no way. He's all about the team. He's said multiple times how much he respects Mike Tomlin. This is not the type of thing that he would put out purposefully. I think probably what happened is he looked at it and maybe, he accidentally pressed retweet or something and then he blamed it on his butt. But I really don't think that an NFL player's phone, he has it in his pocket and it just accidentally happens to retweet that tweet. I don't buy that it's a butt tweet. I think it's an accident. It's a mistake, but I don't think his butt did it for him. So what do you guys think? Do you think that this was a butt retweet? Do you think this is a butt retweet? Or do you think that, it's just an accident? Or maybe you think he actually doesn't like Tomlin. I don't know. I guess we'll see. This is the pinned comment for today's video. So whenever you get an ad break on this video, it's a great time to go shout out your take in the comments section. Now let's look at some Steelers injuries early on in the week here. Obviously, TJ Watt's still on IR with that torn pectoral muscle. Terrell Edmunds is listed as questionable with a concussion. Pat Freiermuth, also concussion. Akella Witherspoon was out last week with a hammy. Levi Wallace left last week's game with a concussion as well. And then Cam Sutton, another hamstring injury. Calvin Austin is still on IR with his foot injury. And then Larry Ogunjobi is questionable with a back injury. Now let's talk a little bit about TJ Watt, who has been out since week 1 when he tore his pectoral muscle. And Steelers fans have been waiting for weeks to hear about a possible return date. Now it looks like it's going to be week 10. Okay, so he had surgery to repair all the stuff in the pectoral, and now it's looking like he's going to be able to come back after the bye and play the Saints in week 10. And you know what? That really sucks, not having him here for the next 3 weeks when we play some really good football teams in the Buccaneers, the Dolphins, and then the Eagles. You'd really love to have him, especially for that Eagles game, which was the expected return date from the start, but now it's going to be week 10. So that's not great. And then Calvin Austin is the other guy I wanted to dive deep in here. He has returned to practice, and he's got that 21-day window to return from IR. So it looks like he's going to be back in the lineup relatively soon. And personally, he's a dynamic talent. When he comes in, I think that especially on punt and kick returns, this team is going to get a lot better in that regard when he gets back in the lineup. So this is the part of the show where I ask you guys to subscribe to Steelers Talk. Okay, we have daily and free videos on the Steelers news, rumors, injury updates, analysis. We do it all here on Steelers Talk. So if you haven't yet, click that big red button here and subscribe to the channel. So now, should we trade Chase Claypool? This is something that a lot of Steelers fans have been clamoring for a while. And Pro Football Network named one player for each team this week to trade. And Claypool was their guy. They picked Chase Claypool for a number of reasons. But pretty much the main reason is Claypool has been a huge disappointment so far in 2022. He had a great rookie campaign, but over the last 2 seasons, it seems like he has regressed quite a bit. I mean, I really don't think this guy deserves his nickname of Mapletron. To be anything close to Megatron is just I mean, seriously, it's blasphemy. It's blasphemy at this point. I mean, we should change his nickname to like maple syrup or something, because, I mean, drinking maple syrup by itself just sucks, okay? And you look at Claypool, he's got the athleticism, he's got all the tools, which is the syrup, but there's no pancakes, right? There's nothing to put the syrup on. There's no catches, there's no contested catches, there's no good route running. I mean, this guy has all the potential, but none of the stuff that makes things work. So here are some reasons that we should trade Chase Claypool. Number one, he has not played well. Okay, you look at his stats from this season, they're atrocious. Okay, 29 targets, 16 receptions. He's missed a ton of contested catches, which is supposed to be his thing. Only 129 yards, and then like every other Steelers receiver right now, he has 0 touchdown passes. So let's get back to that list here. His potential gives him trade value. So essentially, we should just trade him while the iron's hot. He's still young. He's still very athletic. He's still very big. He's fast. The potential's there. So teams may want to add a guy like this for maybe a mid-round pick. So he does have some trade value. And then also, he's still on his rookie contract, so he's inexpensive for a team to pick up. It'd be pretty easy to move him if we wanted to. And then also Calvin Austin III will be back in the lineup soon, and he could step into that wide receiver 3 role, and we really wouldn't need Claypool anymore. We have George Pickens, we've got our route runner in Deontay Johnson, and then when we put Calvin Austin in there, do we really need Claypool in the lineup anymore? I'm not so sure, but you guys have to let me know in the comments right now if you think we should trade Chase Claypool before the NFL trade deadline. Type T for trade or type K for keep. Now, my opinion on this is I think if the price is right, we should move him. Okay, we're in a rebuilding year. He hasn't looked great. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of Claypool. I'm calling him maple syrup from now on instead of Mapletron. He's just not very good, in my opinion, right now. So I think if the price is right, 5th round pick or higher, I would trade Chase Claypool right now before the trade deadline and try to get another player in next year's draft. I think it's absolutely worth the investment there to send him away to get another chance to draft potentially another receiver next year, or maybe, God forbid, a cornerback. Okay, now our next segment is that Big Ben went on a podcast here after the game on Sunday, and he talked about Kenny Pickett's first start with the Bills, and this is what he had to say. I thought he did well, sustained some drives. Obviously, only 3 points is not what you want. He had a bunch of completions, lots of yards. I thought there were some plays that could have been made out there, but he fought today. So, I mean, we look at Kenny Pickett and what he did last week. I think the consensus is that Pickett was one of, if not the best player on the field for the Steelers, which, you know, it's not exactly saying much because a lot of players on the Steelers just weren't playing well. In fact, they were playing terribly. But Kenny Pickett did sustain some drives. We talked yesterday about his adjusted completion percentage, which is his completion percentage plus the drops. And it was like 75%, 76%. So he was putting the ball in places to help his guys make plays. They just weren't making the plays for him. So I think Kenny Pickett did a very good job against the Buffalo Bills defense. But if you want Kenny Pickett to play well this week versus Buccaneers, I want you to like this video right now. This is, I mean, Kenny Pickett, in my opinion, I think he's going to play well. That's my opinion on this. I think he's going to be doing a good job against Todd Bowles' defense. They're going to try to confuse him, but we're really going to see how well his mental processing has developed here in his first season as a pro. Now let's finish up the show here with some roster moves that the Steelers made today, or rather some news. Damontae Kazee, backup safety, his suspension for substance abuse has been lifted. Now he's still injured with an arm injury, so he's not going to be in the lineup. He's still on injured reserve, but the expectation is that by next week, as early as next week, he could be off the IR and he could play if, say, Terrell Edmunds is still out of the lineup with his head issues. So there's the one piece. And then the other thing is that we re-signed David Anenih to the practice squad this week. We released him last week after picking him up from the Titans practice squad the week of September 15th. and now we're bringing him back to the practice squad. That's the other bit of news, guys. So congratulations, guys. You guys made it to the end of the video, which means that you are a real one, man. And if you're a real one and made it to the end of the video today, I want you to go to the comments section and put "Here we go." Here we go in all caps to let me know that you made it to the end of the video and that you are a true Steelers fan. Thank you guys so much for stopping in to today's video. And until next time, peace, guys.